opportunity. So I'm going to open up the floor to all our listeners. If you have a question for Kavita, if you have a question for Philly, if you have a question for Modern Farmer, now's your chance. So what I will do is that you can request to become a speaker so that you can ask them, live, and they'll do their best to answer you. And Modern Farmer, please accept my request. I asked you to become, okay, he's a speaker. Cool. All right. I think we have our first question. We have Mackenzie. Mackenzie, you can unmute yourself and ask the current two speakers while we wait for Philippe.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening,
Kavita,
Mackenzie.
yes, Kavita and Stuart. Hello, Sis Kuku. How long,
Hello.
Kavita or Stuart? Uh, I'd like to ask you, how can you do pig farming? Okay, thank you. What I want to know is when you want to start farming with the pigs. I don't know if there's any way that you can keep them around the surrounding that it doesn't the place doesn't smell. How do you do that? Normally, I saw the other video from the YouTube that in I think it's Canada, if not somewhere in England, where they'll put a straw inside the stalls where they are. So I don't know if does that keep the smell away from the people if there are people surround the place and stuff. And how how sure how to do I make sure that the source that I buy that I want to start breeding with are they healthy and safe? Do I need to get the vet before I buy them, or do I need to buy them from the maybe a farm that who's well known who's producing the pigs? Thank you.
The first one. Kavita, Stewart, anyone will take the question that Mackenzie wants to ask about the smell?
Um, sure. I think that's a. I'm 37 years old, and I really don't smell anything anymore because of a lifetime in a pig farm. So that there is always going to be some smell, but something that, and it ties into what I talked about a little bit earlier about sanitation. Um, if you, especially if you live in a warm climate, piglets or pigs, they can't sweat. So the way that they cool down is by traditionally either rolling in the mud, rolling in their own manure, or because, and then that the water in that will evaporate off of their skin, and that will cool them down. So if you're doing small scale and you've got some, but for hot weather months, like what I would call traditionally call a wallow, so a wet area where those pigs can go and roll around, that's actually going to help a little bit. But then the other piece is regular cleaning, so that you're not leaving the manure and the urine in there, because the smell, a lot of the smell is actually
The
the
network is
nitrogen
very bad.
evaporating, the ammonia. Oh, is oh, I don't know if maybe this was. Oh, maybe someone just give me a thumbs up to show that that was coming through, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Okay. Okay, it is coming through. So yeah, cleaning regularly is really important. And then the other piece, for anybody that does small scale pig manure, if you clean your pigs twice a day, it also becomes an exceptional form for doing, say, biogas or micro. So some of my friends in the North Rift Valley will collect their dairy manure from zero grazing and put it each day into a little digester. That's another I guess I call it like a side hustle, if you will, of having some pigs. You If you collect that manure, that's going to help you with smell, and it may also become a source of, say, cooking gas, for in the house, or even if you have a lot of pigs, electricity. The other question in there I think I heard was about breeding stock. if there is an area that you want to be very, very careful, it's when you buy a female that you're planning on breeding, that you're buying the foundation of your future. So if there's one area where you want to be careful that you're being very discerning and picky, it's on finding breeding stock. And I think that that's one area where perhaps, even though it might seem cheaper that you could buy a female from a neighbor down the road, it may be the one area where investing in some slightly more expensive products, but coming from a verified breeding stock supplier that takes care to make sure that they're giving you the healthiest animal possible. That would be what I would suggest if you're looking at starting out.
Thank you so much, Stuart, for taking that over. I'm also going to again open up the industry. I'm joking. I'm going to open it up to all you listeners here. If you guys have any questions, just request to be a speaker, and I will allow you guys to be a speaker, and you can ask away anything that you would like to know from our speakers whilst we have the chance. So I have raise your hand or just like request to be a speaker so that you can be audible as well and we can hear your question. Whilst we wait for people to ask, what I want to know from you guys, or where do you guys see yourself with this pig farming business? Because obviously everyone strives to kind of control the value chain, right? You want to do your whole agro processing like right on your farm. You want to kind of own the steps to. Where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years when it comes to pig farming? What are the plans?
I guess I'll go first. In the next 5 years, I'm seeing my capacity growing to at least 3 farms with 1,000 head of pigs, and then that means I want to become the biggest supplier in my county, and in a way be supplying and having contracts for supply of that. So I want to grow my capacity in terms of production to because we have the privilege of having access to like large tracts of land. So I'm able to go large scale. And then on top of that, I would want to get into home deliveries where I get a license to have my own slaughterhouse and then deliver farm fresh products from farm to fork. That's a model that I want to do for different people. So that's if looking ahead, that's what I have like huge population and doing home deliveries, almost like an Amazon for pork, but same day delivery. Like it was cut up today and we get it today.
Okay, I'll go second. Well, I love providing pork. I love producing pork. So in 5 years, in the next 5 years, I want to have opened my own abattoir because this struggle of having to slaughter doesn't really go well with me. So I want to have been able to open an abattoir, at least 2 in the northwest. A Chisanyama as well, that is a pork Chisanyama only, and a few butcheries. So that will have to be, I will have to have at least 100 or 50 sows. Yeah, breeding sows. Okay.
That's really exciting to hear the goals of Feely and Kavita. And I think that one of the things that is so neat about pig farming and then combine that with the food systems in Africa is, there are still lots of small butcheries. There are still the opportunities for that kind of creativity. And it's really exciting to essentially, I know very little about South African pork production, but very much with when I've in Kenya, it's a brand new industry, and there's so much promise for those that are willing to take risk, and the idea of doing same day deliveries and the farmer owning the pig and the abattoir, those are excellent goals, and are a way for the farmer to add more value to their animal. Um, One of the things that's different, I guess, perhaps in North America is we have much stricter, I shouldn't say even stricter. Our food regulations are such that we don't have small butcheries anymore. So I can't go in my town I live near a town of about 8,000 people, and there's no butcher here. All of the meat comes from a big grocery store. So we don't necessarily have those same kind of opportunities to do that what I would call vertical integration. So we're looking at our goal over time will be to move the other way. So we every year we will raise. This year we'll raise about 25 to 30,000 pigs. Next year we may be going more to 40,000 pigs. Our goal is to actually kind of integrate the other way, and so that we can try to grow more of our own crop, and slowly get more acres so that we can grow more of our own maize, and our own soybeans. So that's kind of where we're growing the other way, because we can't really it's not for us here. It's very difficult for a farmer to build an abattoir given the high level of regulation.
Okay, I'm not sure if you're allowed to ask this yet. An answer I didn't get was the market as to which market is profitable. Because I was in pig farming years ago before listeriosis hit. And the two places I would usually sell is an abattoir in Chamdo, just as you enter Northwest, and your regular auctions. But then the auctions were closed for close to 2 years, and you didn't have a market that was a primary market. And the abattoir was also hesitant to take the stock that we had. So my question is, markets for pig besides the abattoir and auctions, is there another profitable market we can seek to your supply? Thank you.
I will just, because I can't speak at all to the specifics of the South African market, but I think that our question raises a really important point, which is, so our farm will never take on more pig ownership without having a contract in place for where that pig is going to be sold. So whether it's an abattoir or an auction mart, I think that it's really important that you know where the pig is going to go before you purchase the pig. So that I would maybe leave it to Farm Girl and Kavita, because they can speak far more with far more education towards the specific markets in South Africa and Kenya.
Well, Ponto, finding market for pigs in the Northwest, let me just say Northwest because this is where I reside, is a bit difficult. That is why I ended up doing what I do, like slaughtering at the abattoir and then selling the meat myself. Because I was selling at 50 rands per kg. And then when you sell to the abattoirs live weight, they give you at least 32 rands per kg. So it's actually more profitable when you sell it yourself. But the problem is maybe when you sell to the people, actually in South Africa, most people as CCs, they don't like pork. So, but you can find the market. When you are consistent about what you want, you always find the people that are going to buy your meat. So the last time I slaughtered, my meat didn't even last it only took about 2 weeks for me to sell all the stock that I had. So finding market, while it's tricky, of course you will already have the peaks. So having to find, if you don't find any market anyway, just take the work by yourself, slaughter the abattoir, and just sell the meat yourself. I don't know if I was making any sense, but yeah, that's what I did. So Lanka thinking, so long I was looking for the market. I just created the market for myself. Thank you. Oh, the other time there was Choppies was looking for the producers, pork producers, but they were offering 19 rands per kg. And at the end of the day, they're going to sell the very same pork at around 70 rand. So you can see how they are just helping us. Thank you.
I think the other thing I could add is like just what Famgirl said, especially for someone starting, and I think this is goes both to the South African market and the local one, is trying to find ways to establish your own informal market because the formal market might not be there. So you can either find it on your own or you can get into all sorts of groups. Like I think one of the ways that I've been able to find market, especially when I've been pressed for that, is through Facebook groups. I think farmers do a good job of connecting each other to market. So if you're on social media, just post what you're selling and you can find a seller through that. Like we're no longer in that traditional sense where you had to go to a physical market. There's so much you can get from strangers online, especially in groups where the forum is about that. So find market online too instead of just depending on the physical ones because the people might just come and carry all that away even if they're coming from longer distances away.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Uh, I think it was a network issue.
Network issue. Well, like I would like to say, thank you so much for inviting me to join in today in this conversation. I think that for me, one of the most exciting things about pigs is that it doesn't take as much capital to get started as say dairy farming or beef farming or things with cattle, and it can start small. If you've got a friend or if you got people that are looking for meat in your community, there's going to be opportunities, especially if you raise a good product. So thank you so much to all who organized today, and it's been very exciting to get to join in on this conversation. And I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me.
It was nice connecting to you, Stuart. I think just my parting shot would be similar in a sense, of, especially to a lot of people in this space are mostly South Africans and Kenyans, and especially the younger generation. There's so many things we've been told about farming that are not necessarily true. So do not be afraid to go into farming because you're young, because you're a woman, because of this and that, or because even your community does not do that. Like I come from an engineering background and now I'm a farmer. And in my farm, no one has ever done pigs before. So I would have so many people telling me this might not work. Why are you going to sell this? And so many people are going to doubt you based on their experience, not on your willingness to do something. So don't let other people's experiences and judgments wear you down. So take the risk and put in the work and it will work. So I encourage like more people to get into this because the more we work together, the better things can become.
I think we didn't really get much on the feeding management. I wanted to ask you guys, and sorry, Norma, you can. I'll ask after you.
Oh, hi. Good evening, everyone. I just have a quick question. I think, Stuart, you touched on it a little bit, and maybe Fairly, you can also answer the question. And as a person that's a farmer, I'm a farmer myself, and we are actually looking at venturing into pig production. We currently are raising broilers as well as we've we currently are raising broilers as well as we've got like your spinach, your greens, like you mentioned. So I wanted to know if I get pigs, for example, like you said, there's a starter, there's a grower, and there's a finisher. At what point can I actually start introducing the leafy greens, the leftover spinach, can I give that to piglets, or can I only give that to a pig that's a couple of months old?
If
Well,
you're growing those on your own, oh sorry, farm girl, I hear.
oh no, ma. For the piglets, most of the time we're raising piglets for the market weight. We want them to reach the market weight as soon as they can. So the leftover spinach you can give to your breeding pigs, because you are not in any hurry for them to grow. So for the piglets, if you are planning to sell them, or if you want them to reach the market weight at the right time, just stick to giving them pig growers. Yeah, thank you.
That was a great answer, and that was, if you're, yeah, with our smaller animals, we want them to grow, and so we want to give them the high quality feeds. If you've decided to do pig breeding, with our bred females, or what we would call a gestating sow, you don't need them to grow. You just need them to maintain their body condition so that they can be healthy when they're nursing their young. And things like greens are an excellent way for them to feel full without them being full, if that makes any sense. So a large female sow can eat an immense amount of food, but she really only needs to eat about if you're giving her a good quality nutrition, she really only needs about 1.5 to 2 kilos. So you don't need to give them very much. So having things like greens for your sows is very good. If you don't have sows and you're just growing pigs, sometimes it can help. It's good for their guts, or gut health, or intestines, if you will, for if you feed leafy greens. So if you don't have sows, that is something that you could feed the growing pigs as well. Just older ones. Sorry, I should be clear. I wouldn't give
Yeah.
it to the weaned sows.
Yeah, I actually agree with what they said. Like, when I mentioned the greens part, it was more of like supplementary feeding. Like, that should not be like your main source of anything. That should just help them, like, just in gut health, and especially the ones that have kids and things like that, just to fill them up. So that gives you, especially what Stewart said, when you have a sow that's especially lactating, that it has like small piglets, it has to be fed throughout. Like, it will keep eating and eating and eating. So if you can replace the volume of food with volume of greens, it will save you quite some money.
Thank you so much. That makes so much sense. Thank you.
Tutukile, did you have any question for us?
Hello everyone. Sorry I had a very poor connection today, so I don't know if this question has been asked before. If I want to start breeding pigs, what is the ratio? Like, how many females do I need? How many males do I need?
We're very lucky here because we've got artificial insemination, and so we'll have places that will sell semen, and so we don't need to keep very many or any boars around, really. So if you have an option, and I don't, again, I know that there was a couple spots in Kenya where you could buy pig semen. I don't know about South Africa. Although that would be something where the host and I could maybe follow up afterwards, and I could touch base with some of the genetics companies I know to find out what genetics companies are offering in South Africa for this group. If you are in a spot where you need to have a females, you don't if one male can handle a lot of females, as long as you're not asking him to do everything all at once. So one male can't breed 10 sows on the same day. However, if you've got a herd of 10 sows and maybe you're only breeding 10 sows every month, scattered over the course of a month, a male can handle that. So I know that doesn't directly answer to how many males or how many females to one male, but first would be to see if you can get good quality semen. And if you can't, then thinking about, yes, having a boar, but planning out your farrowing so that you're being efficient so that one boar can take care of multiple females.
Okay, thank you so much.
To give you a ratio to kill it, you can keep 20 females with just one bull.
Thank you, farm girl.
The situation is the same over here. A lot of farmers use bows, but also there's AI, so you have the option of finding a vet. So that's quite common in Kenya, actually, artificial insemination. But a lot of farmers also have a similar ratio, like 1 to 20.
And Stuart, you asked if there's any artificial insemination companies here. We use, I think our best company is PIC, but we'll follow up after the meeting.
Yeah, you can hear you. Ask. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm Daniel Uganda. I'm joining the bit late. I just want to know the best breeds that can give you a higher turnover over a shorter period of time. The best breed. Thank you.
The ones that I keep outside I don't slaughter the ones that I keep outside.
I think, guys, I need to go on to the rest of my day, but I wanted to just say thank you to everybody before I jump off here. But thank you so much to Farm Girl and to Kavita, and to our host. It was very, very, very fun to be a part of this today. And don't be afraid to, if you want to ask questions over Twitter, don't be afraid to send me a DM. I'll do my best to answer anything. And thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Hello. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm asking about what is the specific course that I can take to do pig farming or maybe cattle farming? What is the specific course?
There's the one, I don't remember which academy was offering it. There's peak management that you can follow up on, but just get on Google and search peak management courses. I think you might get them there.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good evening. This is Google. Thank you very much for creating this space. I just wanted to find out about growing fodder from wheat and other grains like barley for pigs. Is that something that is sustainable in the long run, or we must just stick to normal feed that you get over the counter? Thank you.
Well, I was planning to do that for my breeding stock. I was planning to plant lucerne for them. So that's a very good idea. Cuts a lot of costs.
I'm not sure anyone else can use the mic now.
Yeah, thank you, Farm Girl. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Evening, guys. I wanted to know, is it possible to get the previous two episodes of Farm Spaces? Because it's the first time I'm seeing this update, and I'm quite interested in going into farming. I'm a newbie in this industry.
I am not so sure about that, but I think Google will update us with Twitter. Yes, you can.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak on space with you all people. I'm from Pakistan, and I'm living in mountains of Karakoram, and I'm learning from you people. It was a time when we were learning from Europeans, but now not me, but lot many people here in our area are learning agriculture from you people. I learned from many of you guys, especially I'm very sorry because I cannot pronounce names of you all people, right? So I learned many things from a farm girl, right? So we are very small farmers, and here we are getting money not by selling our raw materials, fresh milk. We are not selling cucumbers. We are not selling our vegetables directly to market, but we are just trying to convert them into value-added products. And I learned this process from a guy on Twitter who is also from Africa, and I applied this in all my village. Due to this activity, we are earning now from our agriculture, and but we have some problems. Like in Africa, I see you people are getting high yields of tomatoes, getting high yields of cabbage, everything. You are getting high yields of every vegetable. But we are facing problems due to harsh weather conditions. It's not the only reason for poor production or poor yield. The main reason I think is that we in Pakistan are not getting the proper seeds for vegetables. Therefore, I want to import some good seeds of different vegetables. If any of you guys can help me out or can send me the seeds, I will pay for that. Thank you very much.